I can't do it, and I won't do it anymore. Know that this episode is going to be vastly different from anything else that I have put out on the Pet Parenting Reset. If you're new here, my name is Jessica. I'm a holistic pet health coach and canine nutritionist. And on this podcast, we talk all things holistic health, not just for your pets. I have been incorporating holistic health practices for humans as well, because integrative health is functional medicine is so incredibly important for us to remember that nature provides, that even though we have destroyed a lot of nature, there's still a lot of value there. And I have been, this episode, we're going to talk about something that I believe is not political, that I believe is not religious. Some people have assigned political beliefs to it. Some people have even assigned religious beliefs to it. I don't believe either is true. And at the end, I'm going to give you a little bit more update, talk about Kimberly, talk about sponsors for the show. This episode is not sponsored. This is me. This is me talking because I believe that when you speak your truth is when you really attract your tribe. And I've done what I thought was my best for a very long time to not rock the boat. And I'm not trying to rock the boat with this podcast either. That's not the intention. But I know that some people are going to like it and some people are not going to like it. And I also know that when you try to please everyone, you please no one. And I also know that when you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. And so what I want to say, again, I do not believe it is political to talk about science. I do not believe it is political to believe in human rights. I do see some political nuance. I'm in America. I'm a US citizen. This is the focus of pretty much everything I talk about is what's going on with our pets, like what we have access to, what's going on in the news in the US with our pets, what we can do here, because I'm just not familiar with what is happening or what's available in the rest of the world. So to be in the United States, to have been born and raised here, I get to have this podcast and I get to bring you some really incredible guests because we are supposed to have free speech in America. And so yes, that's political. But I won't apologize for talking about free speech because I believe it is worth fighting for. And I think, especially in the past 5 years, that is exactly what we have been doing, is fighting for our continued right to free speech against. And for me, free speech meaning we can say as American citizens whatever we want without fear of persecution from the government. And we have seen that no longer be true in some cases in the past 5 years. And I only get to do this podcast because we have free speech, because we are supposed to have free speech. And a lot of the things that I say and that guests I have had on this podcast have said would absolutely be something that would be that I have seen people in the United States, I have seen American citizens be silenced indirectly and sometimes directly by our government in the past 5 years. And so, no, I don't intend this to be a political episode whatsoever. I do believe people have politicized science, especially in the past 5 years, that they've made science into a religion. I'm not the only one that believes that. I think it is kind of obvious if we step back and try to take an unbiased look at what has been going on. What I do know is that I have been surprisingly sad and shaken by what happened on September 10th in Utah. I didn't know the man that was killed. I did follow him. I listened to full episodes. I listened to full speeches. And while I may not have agreed with 100% of everything he said, I do believe he had the right to say it. And I also try my best when I can to listen to views and opinions that are different than mine, especially because I feel a huge sense of responsibility to bring you, the pet parent listening or watching this episode of this podcast, the best information I possibly can. I am absolutely open to changing my views and opinions when I find something that is maybe a little contradictory to what I currently believe, but I see that it's true. But I can't do that if I close myself off into an echo chamber. And I do believe this affects me in the same way that I believe it affects you. Even if you don't have a podcast, even if you don't have a social media platform where you share this information, even if you are, you feel like maybe you're just a consumer of information, that's okay. Like, I'm so thankful you're here, because when you consume this information, I know that you take that and you do the best you can to improve the health of your pets and hopefully yourself as well. Because if we don't have our health, we don't have anything else. And I have just been, like I said, so incredibly sad. I had to take myself off of social media for a handful of days. It worked out because I was packing and moving and I was really busy anyway, but I actually had to take myself off of social media for a couple of days. It hit me really hard. Not, again, because his death is more important than others. It's not. In fact, each and every single time I see that something horrible has happened to someone, I don't care who it is, feel terribly about it. If you bring something horrible to me, I'm going to say it's horrible. I don't care if I agreed with that person or if I didn't agree with that person. But this one just hit me so, and it brought me to the point where I'm just not willing to silence myself. I don't have any intentions of turning this into a political account whatsoever. But I do know that I have held back in the past. I have brought things to you the best way I felt I could, but held back a little bit because I did feel some fear that it wouldn't be perceived correctly. And that's not fair. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to me. And do I believe every single thing that, for example, RFK Jr. says and does? No, I don't. Do I think he might be the best chance we have right now of not being completely captured by Big Pharma? Yeah, I think so. It may not be a perfect situation, but it's better than all of the other, in my opinion, options we had at the time. And I know some people are going to listen to anything anybody says about Charlie Kirk and say, what about this? And what about that? And oh my gosh, Jimmy Kimmel should have never been fired. You know what? No, he should not have been fired, in my opinion. But the reality is that to me, it's all a game. It's all an illusion. Why? Because do you know who owns the Jimmy Kimmel Show? Disney. Do you know who owns Disney? Blackstreet, Vanguard, BlackRock. Do you know what Blackstreet, Vanguard, and BlackRock also own? Pfizer and Moderna. So 5 years ago, when Jimmy Kimmel was telling untruths about the COVID jab and the COVID virus, Pfizer and Moderna were totally fine with everything he said. Now they're not. And you know what? That's okay. They're private. I didn't watch the Jimmy Kimmel Show. I do believe he's a hypocrite because he was very happy for Roseanne Barr getting removed from her show for doing basically the exact same thing, stating her opinion and people believing it was vile. I'm not saying that I agree with either one of them. Do believe in free speech. However, a company doesn't have to pay you to say that speech. So I'm not mad that he was fired, but I don't think it was right because I do believe that we should continue to have free speech. But again, the bigger picture is that it's all a game. We are all being played. And until you take a 10,000-foot view of what is actually happening, that it's all the same handful of companies that own everything. Because you know what? Blackstreet, Vanguard, and BlackRock own both Fox and CNN as well. So they're taking the exact same information and spinning it for the audience that they have a preference for, that they are getting their views from. We're not getting real news. We're getting opinions. Oftentimes, we have to really be discerning. And I'm not saying I'm not guilty. I absolutely give you my opinions, and I tell you they're my opinions when I give them to you. I also try to be as factual as possible. And when I'm wrong, I come and tell you I'm wrong. I try to, and I feel horrible about it when I do. I remember it happening with the H5N1 with highly pathogenic avian influenza when the CDC had conflicting information on their website. And I brought you one piece of it, having not seen the other. And I had a friend and colleague reach out to me and say, that's not what the CDC says. And I showed her where I found on the CDC's website what I said, and she showed me on the CDC's website what she found, which was conflicting information. And I came back to you that same week and I said, oh my gosh, I feel so horrible. I am so sorry that the CDC has both pieces of information on their website. That's not the kind of society we live in. It's like we're wrong about something, we find out we're wrong about something, and we dig in harder. And that is so frustrating. And I have felt all of the emotions. I am sad and I am angry and I am frustrated and I am hurt and I am overwhelmed and I am in some instances happy sometimes. And especially when I see people coming together, it's absolutely horrible. In my opinion, he was a son and a brother and a father and a husband. And there are so many people that are affected by his death. And it's not just him. Again, there are so many horrible things happening to so many people around the world. And I'm not downplaying any of them. They're all horrible. I just simultaneously feel disgust because there are people celebrating that he was killed. And I, at the same time, feel so much hope because there's so much unity in another group of people. But what I'm most concerned about is the fact that we're othering each other. That if you believe one thing, then you're different from me. And if you're different from me, then I can be cruel to you, even violent to you, and it's justified. And that is not okay. I realize that this could fall a couple of different ways for you, because when I think about people who care as much as I care about my animals, as much as I care about your animals, traditionally, that seems to be a liberal value. But also lately, freedom of speech, freedom to choose, to not be mandated into experimental medical treatments has been a more conservative value. So I don't know where you stand politically. And honestly, it doesn't matter to me where you stand politically. If you care about your pet, if you care about your health, if you care about medical freedom, I not only want to stand beside you, but I want to speak for you with the platform that I have. I don't care what your political views are or what your religious views are. To me, freedom of bodily autonomy for you and for the pets you care for is a right in our country, should be a right around the world. And so it's such a blurry line between what's political and what's not political. What can I say and what can I not say? Am I going to get canceled because I want to say that I believe you should have the freedom to choose whether or not you put an experimental medical whatever juice in your body or your pet's body? I don't it's scary, but I'm not willing to do that anymore. I'm not willing to walk on eggshells, pretend I know how to walk a tightrope, because I don't, when at the end of the day, all I care about is that I'm bringing you the best information that I can possibly bring to you, and that I am so blessed to live in a place that allows me the freedom to do that, or has in the past allowed me the freedom to do that. And it isn't a left versus right issue, because guess what? The quote unquote conservative Republicans that are in office right now are saying some really crazy fascist things right now that I only heard a handful of years ago from what I believed were the liberal left people saying. It's not a left versus right issue. It's a good versus evil issue. There's both good and evil on both sides of the political aisle. This isn't a racial issue, in my opinion, though I do believe that there are lots of people and lots of reasons that high powered, I don't even want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I do believe that there are people out there that do perpetuate racist talk and belief and thinking, not only in our country, but throughout the world. We just happen in our country to view racism one singular way, when I think if we look globally, there's a lot of different ways to view racism through many different races, not just two. I do believe there are businesses, corporations in place that benefit financially off of continued racism. And I don't agree with that at all. Like, again, I don't see this as a left versus right issue. I don't see this as one race versus another race issue. I see all of this as a good versus evil issue at the end of the day. And I'm not particularly religious. I try to be spiritual, and I see a lot of overlap. I grew up religious, and I don't even see myself as super political. I only follow some politics because I actually do believe it affects me, and that it affects us, and that especially when it comes to our food supply and our medical system, we have got to be more involved. We have got to stand up and say enough is enough. When we look at the fact that in the 1960s and 1970s, we as a country in the United States we were all thin and beautiful and tan. And you know what happened? They put glyphosate on everything. And now, instead of saying, guess what? My body can't handle that poison that is sprayed on everything, we say, oh, we have a gluten intolerance. No, most of us don't. We have a glyphosate intolerance. This is so much more than a left versus right issue, or one race versus another race. Those are things put in place to keep us occupied so that we don't look at the bigger picture. And all I'm asking of you is to look at the bigger picture. And I realize that is daunting and overwhelming, and it has made all kinds of things. It has made me angry. It has made me determined. It has made me frustrated and overwhelmed. But it is so necessary. It is so incredibly necessary that we stop fighting with each other, that we find what we have in common, which, if nothing else, should be the right to live the way we want to live and to let the person next to us live the way they want to live. As long as we don't infringe on each other's rights. Again, if I were political, I would probably fall pretty far in the libertarian camp, because that's all I want, is for me to live my life the way I see fit, and for you to leave me alone while I do it, to not infringe on each other's rights. But again, I don't want this to be political. I don't feel that it is, or that it should be political. I do think that there is a lot going on around the world that is occupying our minds. We are not designed to know what is going on around the world 24/7. We are not designed to see people die on our phones, in our hands, and go back to work. It is so bad for our mental health. Yet here we are. This is what we're doing. And quite honestly, when we live in this stress state, it affects our pets so much. And I realize you're like, Jessica, you're talking about something so deep, and now you're coming back to our pets. It matters. It all matters. Like, we live in this world that everything is connected. And we have gotten, I've said this so many times, so far disconnected from nature. Right now, in this moment, I feel so disconnected. And I know in my heart, like, there are so many reasons. I'm going to give you an update here in just a minute of like some things going on with me and my pets, but I'm literally recording this the day before it's coming out to you because I have been trying to figure out exactly what I want to say. And I still don't even know what I want to say. I don't know if I've said what I wanted to say yet, other than to say that I will not be political, but I am not going to silence myself. If I feel something needs to be said, for whatever I'm talking about, for the bigger picture, I'm going to say it. And I am sorry if you don't agree with me. That's fine. Bring me that information of why you don't agree with me. Bring me like full interviews. Bring me full studies. Please don't bring me headlines. Headlines mean nothing. Please don't bring me memes. Memes don't mean anything either. I don't want to see a clip taken out of context. I want to see full interviews, full episodes, full studies, full whatever. Like, because this is what I'm trying to bring you. I'm not trying to bring you headlines. I'm not trying to bring you half researched information. I really, truly try. And I know this is hard. This is hard because with holistic health, we don't have studies for everything. And that's kind of the point. The point is that nature is providing for us, even when we don't know how or why sometimes. It's also kind of the point that everything in the pharmaceutical industry started in nature. They took nature and said, I can't patent this. How can I change it so that I can patent it? So it makes sense to go back to nature when we can. Our food has become political. Our medicine has become political. The sick care system is certainly political. I don't know how to not. I'm trying so hard. I don't want to be political because I don't feel like any of these things should be. And I have just, every time I open social media for the past darn near 2 weeks, I'm crying because maybe it's because I am nowhere near. I am not. Please believe I am humble and I realize I am nowhere near a Charlie Kirk. I am not a household name. I am not in the mainstream. I understand that. And you know what? I think a lot of us in this healthy pet space are not, and that is totally fine. I don't need to be. I don't want to be. And do I think that's going to happen to me? No. No. I don't. I'm not self-important like that. I don't have those feelings. I don't have those beliefs. I guess it made the possibility more real that any of us, I look at like Europe and people being put in jail for social media posts. That's not a world I want to live in. Like, what has happened? Anyway, that's, I guess, what I wanted to say. I don't even know if that's what I wanted to say. I feel like maybe that's what I wanted to say. It's terrible. So many terrible things have happened. This year, it's a 9-year. We're in an eclipse season. I know my year has been, Lord, my year has been insane. I have had so much change this year, more than any other year of my life. And I can say that having lived through all of it. It's been insane this year. And I want to give you a little bit of an update on that because hopefully by the time you hear this episode, I will have closed on selling my house in Texas. For those of you who have been here for a while, you know that some really not amazing things, happened at the beginning of this year, and I'm still working through all of that. It's a really strange feeling and a really strange place right now to be in, where I simultaneously feel like everything is still being destroyed and I'm trying to rebuild. And I'm trying to like juggle both of those things at the same time. And I'm hoping this is kind of the last piece. I don't know, maybe not. There's still a lot going on with the estate that I'm dealing with. Yeah, it's been an insane year for sure. A lot of things have ended in ways I never thought possible. And at the same time, I'm still doing, still living, still going, still planning and rebuilding. Through all of that, my pets have been here and amazing and feeling all of the stress with me, Kimberly included. So I'm still waiting to get the results from the follow-up animal biome test after we did the legacy biome FMT for a month. And yeah, I've done a bioenergetic test on myself. So I know there are things going on with me physically as well that I was aware of, but kind of not 100% sure of the like whys. And so I'm finding out the whys. Yeah, when I drove the U-Haul back, well, I didn't drive, I rode, but we drove the U-Haul back from Texas. I went and I packed up my house. We stopped in Camden, South Carolina, and a little kitten decided he was joining the family. So I have a new kitten. His name is Camden to introduce you to. I'm going to start posting him on my social media. So if you don't follow me on Instagram and TikTok, please go do so at the Pet Parenting Reset. And there's just so much. I still don't even know if I said what I wanted to say in this episode. I hope it came across in the most heartfelt, genuine way that I intended it to, because again, this is not a political podcast and I have no intention of it being a political podcast. I don't believe we should be politicizing science and medicine and food. And these are the things that I talk about, science and medicine and food. And so maybe I feel attacked. Maybe that's what it is. It's been almost 2 weeks and I'm still grappling with the feelings. I think I feel attacked. Very indirectly, obviously, and certainly not in a way where I'm like, "Poor me, look over here." No, that's not it. I'm not being victimized, but I do feel like the things I talk about that I am passionate about are the things I am passionate about that I talk to you about on this podcast are under attack. So maybe not me specifically, but the things that I bring to you, the things that I talk about, the things that I feel like, and I know in my pets' lives have made a huge difference, and the lives of my clients' pets have made a huge difference, and hopefully in your pets' lives and your lives have made a huge difference. I feel like those things are under attack and I can't stay quiet about that. Like these things matter and they make a difference and we have to be at this point, we don't have a choice anymore, but to be outspoken to say, no, this matters to me and I will not let you bastardize it anymore. And if we don't do that, where are we? What are we left with? Where are we going to be left? I don't know. I hope that makes sense. And maybe people have already unfollowed me. I don't know. I can't worry about that. I have to worry about the message. I have to worry about food and the medicine and what they want us to see. We've already seen, and look, I don't have a child with autism. Somebody listening might. We've already seen that we have had the science, we have had the studies showing the effect that vaccines have on autism, and it was buried because it was not, in fact, not only was it not going to help, it was going to hurt the pharmaceutical companies making the vaccines, so they buried the science. That's not okay. And when we don't speak up and when we don't say anything, they just continue to get away with it and do it over and over and over again. We've already seen that. And I can't not talk about it because it affects all of us. It affects me. It affects my pets. It affects you. It affects your pets. So no, this isn't political. This is not political. And if you see it as political, I'm sorry for you. I really am. It's a human rights issue, in my opinion. If we don't have access to clean food and clean water, if they take away our access to nature, to natural remedies, to peptides, to stem cell, if they take away our access and we let them take away our access, because it's not making the pharmaceutical companies a profit, where are we? What are we left with? Like, we're already seeing where we are and what we're going to be left with. And it's not pretty. We're all sick. Our pets are sick. We have to keep talking about it. Because when we're aware of what is actually happening and we speak up and we say no more, we have power in numbers. We have to do it. We have to do it. And I'm blessed to have this podcast. And for me to not say what I'm saying would be the travesty, I think. So if you're still here, thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Next week is going to be a regular episode, I promise. I am just wishing you and your pets the absolute best. I truly, 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 all I want is for you and your pets to have access to clean food and clean water and natural remedies when you want them. That's it. That's it. So if you think that's political, I'm sorry. That is my hope for today and every day. And if you're still here again, thank you so much. I care too much, obviously, obviously, about all of this. And it is being attacked for sure. So I hope you're with me. I hope you're sticking with me. I have some really amazing episodes coming up. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you and your pets the best. Honestly, I do. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I want every single last one of you and your pets to have, and all animals, to be treated fairly, to have clean food and clean water and natural access to natural modalities, which like these should be basic human rights, and we've let governments get in the way of that. We've let it go for too long. So, I don't know. Maybe I feel better. I'm not sure. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. With that, again, next week, we're going back to a normal episode. Thank you so, so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I wish you and your pets the best. Until next week, please give your pets some extra love from me. Have a great week.